Hey everybody, welcome back to Parsha Shavua with Levi Chazan. Thanks once again for being with us. This week's Parsha is of course Noach. Noach ish Tzaddik. Noach was a righteous person. Immediately upon the generations after the creation of the world, everything went down south really quickly, and people were evil, and so much so that the Kadosh Baruch Hu had to destroy all living beings, except of course Noach. So Noach was commanded to build this tremendous ark, this huge ark, which the Torah describes exactly the measurements of this ark. It was 300 amot long and 50 amot wide, which is really pretty impressive, so to speak. And it took Noach some 120 years in order to build this tremendous ark. So here it is, it's upon its completion. Only one small problem arises with this ark over here, and that is, in spite of its size, its massive size, in spite of that, if you add up all the animals that were around that entered into this ark, including Noach with his family and his three sons and their wives, there really doesn't seem to be enough space for everybody. I mean, you're talking about a lot of animals that were there at the time. Where did everybody fit? Nahon, it was true, it was a tremendous ark. But where did everyone fit? So, leaving that question on the side for a moment, I want to discuss a little bit about the history or the modern history of the awakening of the Jewish people coming back home to Eretz Yisrael. The first real movement that really we have historically is, of course, the Baal Shem Tov, who lived in the early 1700s, some 300 plus years ago. He sent his Talmidim back to Eretz Yisrael, where back in the day, some 300 years ago, nothing was really doing there. So these tens of families, not even actually hundreds of families, came and settled in the city of Tiberia. But the conditions were very hard at the time. And so with the diseases and everything that was going on to make a living over here, it really didn't work out. Many of them died. They're buried in the ancient cemetery of Tiberia, and you could see them to this very day. Many of them left and moved to Yerushalayim, or went back to Europe. It was an unsuccessful attempt. Why, though, did the Baal Shem Tov, who envisioned the redemption by sending his students over to the land of Israel, why did he even want that to be? Why did he take the effort and tell their students and bring them over to the land of Eretz Israel? He could have just waited until the Mashiach came, and then at that point, Mashiach will miraculously arouse the Jewish people and bring everybody home. Why did he to make the first move to come with his people to end of Eretz Israel? We also find later in the time of the Gra, the Holy Gra, the Vilna Gaon from bringing back, and he also told his students to come up to the land of Eretz Israel. This was at the beginning of the awakening of the Jewish people, what they call the first Aliyah, to come back to the land back in the 1880s or so. And his students came and did make an input, and they settled first in the old city, and then they expanded and made many different communities outside the old city in Yerushalayim, including the center of town, Nachalat Shiva, and of course they expanded to Mea Sharim, and then went out even out of Yerushalayim to Petach Tikva, and they were successful to really lay the foundation of many of the modern cities and communities that we have today. We also have, of course, the movement of the secular Jews who came on the first Aliyah, on the second Aliyah, etc. Why did the Gra envision and tell his people to come up to the land of Eretz Israel? Wouldn't it have been better just to stay in Vilna and to wait until the appropriate time? So we see that there's really two different types of schools of thought over here, how the redemption process will take place amongst the Jewish people. You have the waiters, those who sit around saying it's forbidden to partake, to take action, to take an activity, to do an act in order to bring the redemption. We have to let it all plan out by the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. Us, it's forbidden for do. And then we saw that a lot at the end of the 19th centuries when many of the Orthodox communities forbidden their people, actually made it, it was forbidden for them to come to the land of Eretz Israel, to take an active part in the redemption process. On the other hand, we do see like the Baal Shem Tov and the Gra and later the Mizrahi movement who encouraged their people to come up and to participate in the redemption process because they thought that we have to take an active part. It's interesting that when a person is, God forbid, sick, not feeling well, he goes to a doctor. When a person wants to make parnasa, he goes out and works and tries to earn some money. Seemingly, when it comes to the redemption process, there's a hands-off attitude. We can't participate. We have to let the events unfold, let Kadosh Baruch Hu himself do it. Why is this different over here? And all the times we do take in activities when it comes to our own personal care, we do go out and try our utmost to do this. When it comes to national issues, the same should apply. And the Jews should participate and do their utmost in order to bring the redemption as much as they possibly can. Getting back to our original question of Noach's Ark, the Ramban Nachmanides points this out, that in spite of the ark, how big it was still small in comparison to put all the animals that were around at the time inside this vessel over here, inside this ark, in order to be saved. So the Ramban explains that it needed to have a miracle. It was an expansion of the ark, so to speak, that everything was able to fit inside of the ark in spite of its size, in spite of its small size. Kadosh Baruch Hu made a miracle and enabled everything to fit inside of it. The Ramban then asks the question, if it's going to be a miracle, why trouble Noach for 120 years to build this vessel? It's going to be a miracle anyway. Let it be a miracle from the beginning, not to trouble Noach to build this thing. And in any case, God will save the 2x2 animals who had to be saved with an ark that he would, Kadosh Baruch Hu would just bring down. And the Ramban answers in a very important principle that we have in the Torah, and that is, without taking the first step, there will be no miracle. Noach had to go to the extreme of his power, so to speak, of what he's able to do. Only afterwards the Kadosh Baruch Hu will make the miracle. So too today, we must do all in our power, in our lives, and in a nationalistic life also for the Jewish people. Everything we could do, whether it's coming to the land of Eretz Israel, what could we do on the Temple Mount? We could go up to the Temple Mount. That's the limit that we could do. That's what we should do. In every aspect of our lives, we have to do the utmost. It's from there that the Kadosh Baruch Hu takes over, so to speak, and brings a miracle and gets the action complete. This is our job today, and this is the lesson that we have today as we approach election time here in the land of Eretz Israel. Be prepared. We have to do our job. After we do 100% of what we're able to do, the Kadosh Baruch Hu will continue from that point on and expand it and bring the final redemption to the Jewish people. But it's up to us to make that first step. The Talmud tells us, "Ani lo nechnas liyushalayim shel mala, ad Yisrael nechnasim liyushalayim shel mata." I do not enter into the heavenly Jerusalems until the Jews make the first step and enter into their Jerusalem here on earth, in Jerusalem, of course. Hey, that reminds me that I'm Levi Chazan for Yeshiva Rayon HaYehudi in Yerushalayim. Thank you once again for being with us. Until next time.